Hey, you're wondering why you should be setting up a living trust and not a will? Well, in this video, I'm going to give you 4 reasons why a will can pose serious problems for your estate and no one's talking about it. All right, let's get started. Okay, so when it comes to using a will versus a living trust, I've got lots of videos on the benefits of a living trust, but I just want to dive into the problems with wills. 4 main problems I don't hear people on the internet talking about that you need to be aware of when it comes to setting up your estate plan. All right, so what am I referring to when it comes to my 4 main problems? Well, the first problem with the will is privacy. All right, so you've worked hard all your life building up these assets, and when you pass away, everything that you own, if it has to go through probate, then it's going to be disclosed in a public record somewhere. So if somebody wants to search to see what it is that you own or acquired during your lifetime, all they need to do is go down to the courthouse and they can monitor probates, they can look up your name, and they can find out or get an inventory when the inventory is submitted to the court of everything that you owned. Now, why is this such a concern? You're no longer here, because what happens if your children are involved in a lawsuit? Maybe they're going through a divorce. You've passed away. Now that creditor, that ex-spouse, is going to know what they're entitled to, where to find it, and how to get it is what they're going to receive when you're using a will for your estate plan. Number 2, the other problem with wills comes down to control, lack of control if you're incapacitated. So I'm going to put here lack of control. So what do I mean by lack of control? Listen, a will only operates when you've passed. While you're alive, the will does nothing for you. So think on this. If you were involved in a car accident and you could not take care of yourself because you're in a coma, what happens to all of your assets? Well, see, with the will, it doesn't do anything for you. It's not there to protect your assets, to make sure that they're not being depleted by maybe a greedy beneficiary, that your business or whatever it is that you're investing in, that there can be some continuity plan, that these things can continue on. You see, when you're incapacitated, the will by itself will do nothing for you, so that there then will be a lot of problems with controlling those assets that you currently hold. And many people don't realize this when they're setting up a will. They think, well, my son or my daughter can step right in and pay my bills, take care of my property dealings, deal with tenants, trade my stocks in my brokerage account. Will not happen if all you do is have a will. That's why you want to have a living trust. All right, number 3. The other problem with this is not only lack of control when you're alive, but loss of access to assets when you've passed away. Okay, so loss of access to assets. So here's the thing about probate. When you pass away, the court steps in and they're going to control the distribution of your assets to your beneficiaries. And so what I've seen occur in certain situations is that when somebody passes away, their beneficiaries, their spouse even, cannot gain access to the assets because now they're held by the court, essentially, or overseen by the court. And it will lock these assets down. Banks will lock down assets when somebody has passed away because they don't know who they're supposed to be distributed to. And if your loved ones need those assets, maybe there's medical bills, maybe it's just to live on, and they don't have access to them, what are you leaving as your legacy? What do you want to tell your people that you care most about when you've passed on? That you didn't think about this and now they have to struggle because the court's not going to give them immediate access to the assets that they need to maintain their lifestyle? That's the problem that can happen with wills. You can have access to your assets cut off until you work through that probate process. And that can be as short as a few weeks, or it could be up to several years. So you want to make sure you're ensuring that the loved ones that you care most about have access to your assets. Now, the 4th one that I think is a really big one is ancillary probate. And it's something that a lot of people don't realize is that probate is expensive. We talk about this all the time. But here's the thing. If you own hard assets like real estate in multiple states, maybe you live in Oregon, but you have a vacation property in Hawaii. Well, when you pass away, you will start the probate process in Oregon and you will probate all of those assets in Oregon. Now, your Hawaii property, well, we're not going to touch that yet because we're first going to finish the Oregon probate, and then when that's wrapped up, we're going to start a new probate in Hawaii. You see, when you own assets in your own name and they're not held in a trust and you pass away, every state where you own real property will have to start a new probate procedure. I've often joked with people that have property in multiple states. I said you should buy an RV and paint probate wagon on it and leave it to your beneficiaries so they have a place to stay as they're probating your estate. Listen, these are 4 reasons why you should avoid setting up a will. They're major cost to your estate, not only in terms of monetary, but emotional as well. So make sure you're doing the right thing and set up a living trust. And if you want to get help with that, go to the show notes below. I have a link in there. You can schedule a free strategy session and we'll talk to you about the benefits of setting up a living trust and how we can help you accomplish your estate planning goals.